Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are discussing Canto 9, Chapter 11, Text 21. Yesterday we did text 20th. 22-23 is the section where Bhagavatam talks about Ayodhya Vasis going back to Vaikuntha. So in yesterday's verse, which is 20th, we discussed about Lord Ramchandra, how his spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes, why Lord Ramchandra does pastimes, and why he does leelas and all those things. How Lord comes, or why Lord comes as human being, performs wonderful uncommon pastimes, only for one reason, that is satisfaction of the devotees. 21. Yasyamalam nripasadhasu yashodhunapi gayanti agaghanam rishayodig ibhendra pattam tamnakapala vasupala kirita justa Padambujam Raghupatim Sharanam Prapadye. Yasya, whose Lord Ramchandra's Amalam is spotless, free from material quality, Nirpa Sadhasu. In the assembly of great emperors like Maharaj Yudhishthira, Yashaha, famous glories, Adhunapi, even today, Gayanti, glorify, Agam Ghanam, Aga Ghanam, which vanquish all sinful reactions, Rishiha, great saintly persons like Markandeya, Dik, Eva Indra Pattam, as the ornamental cloth covering the elephant that conquers the directions. Tam, that Nakapala of heavenly demigods, Vasupala of earthly kings, Kirita by the helmet, Justa are worshipped, Pada Ambujam, whose lotus feet, Raghupatim unto Lord Ramchandra, Sharanam, surrender, Prapadde, I offer. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Ramchandra's spotless name and fame, which vanquish all sinful reactions, are celebrated in all directions, like the ornamental cloth of the victorious elephant that conquers all directions. Great saintly persons like Markandeya Rishi still glorify his characteristics in the assemblies of great emperors like Maharaj Yudhishthira. Similarly, all the saintly kings and all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, worship the Lord by going down with their helmets. Let me offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. Sharanam Prapadye. Very important. All the saintly kings and all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, worship the Lord by bowing down their helmets. Krit Justa Padam Bujam Raghupatim Sharanam Prapadde. So that Lord Ramchandra, I offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. Sharanam Prapadde. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So, here in this shloka, it describes the excellency of Lord Ramchandra for a surrendering person, a person who wants to take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra. So, it is said like sages like Markandeya glorify his spotless fame, whose Lord Ramchandra's fame, in the assembly of kings like Yudhishthira even today. Patta means reaching, so thus his fame reaches in all directions. Lord Ramchandra's fame reaches in all the directions. Thus his fame reaches in all directions. His feet are served by the crowns of the devatas and earthly kings. Vasupala. Big devatas and Vasupala means earthly king. Everybody comes and serves the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra. They put their helmet at the feet of my Lord Ramchandra. His feet, another version has Ishtam and Raghupati. Okay, so that is the glories of Lord Ramchandra. So remembering the sweetness of his pastimes on earth, even Jivan Mukta sing his glories in great bliss. In relation to Krishna's pastime, it is said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You are able to hear me? Okay, so remembering the sweetness of Lord Ramchandra's pastimes on earth, even Jivan Muktas sing his glories in great bliss. So in relation to Krishna's pastimes, it is said, Sthiti Udbhavantam Bhuvantarasyaha Samihite Anant Gunah Swalilaya Natasya Chitram Parapaksha Nigrahas Tathapi Martyanu Vidhasya Varnyate. For him who orchestrates the creation, maintenance and destruction of the three worlds and who possesses unlimited spiritual qualities, it is hardly amazing that he subdues insignificant opponents because he is playing a human role in his pastimes. Okay. So it is very amazing that a person who is actually God, who is actually controller of creation, maintenance and destruction of all the three worlds, who has so many unlimited spiritual qualities, and he hardly he subdues insignificant opponents like fighting with Ravana and all. What is this? Okay. So it's not a big deal that if he kills Ravana. Means for a person who don't know the full glories of Lord Ramchandra or Krishna, for them it will be a big deal. Oh, he killed Ravana, he killed Kamsa. It's a big deal. But a person who actually knows the Lord, for him it's not a big deal. He knows that for him, like Lord Ram killed Ravana or Krishna killed Kamsa, it is just a thing. It's not a very amazing thing because he knows how amazing Lord Ram is. So this thing is very small thing for him. Saye isprishto abhidrishto va samvishto anugato api va Koshalaste yayu sthanam yatra gachanti yoginaha. Sahahi, Lord Ramchandra, yai, by which person is prishtaha attached, abhidrishtaha, seen va, either samvishtaha, eating together, lying together, anugataha, followed as servants, apiva, even, Koshalaha, all those inhabitants of Koshal, they, yayuhu, departed sthanam to the place yatra wherein gachanti they go yogina all the bhakti yogis. Lord Ramchandra returned to his abode to which bhakti yogis are promoted. This is the place to which all the inhabitants of Ayodhya went after they served the Lord in his manifest pastime by offering him obeisances, touching his lotus feet, fully observing him as a father-like king, sitting or lying down with him like equals, or even just accompanying him. Wow. So the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam yo me veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mamiti. So Arjuna, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So here this is confirmed. All the inhabitants of Ayodhya who saw Lord Ramchandra as citizens, served him as servants, sat and talked with him as friends, or were somehow or other present during his reign, went back home, back to Godhead. Whoever was present in Ayodhya, everybody went. All the Ayodhya Vasis went to Saket or Vaikuntha planet. After giving up the body, the devotee who becomes perfect in devotional service enters that particular universe where Lord Ramchandra or Lord Krishna is engaged in his pastimes. Then after being trained to serve the Lord in various capacities in that Prakrit Leela, the devotee is finally promoted to Sanatan Dham, the supreme abode in the spiritual world. This Sanatan Dham is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Parastasmatu bhavo anya vyakta vyaktat sanatana. One who enters the transcendental pastimes of the Lord is called Nitya Leela Pravisht. So that's why you must have heard when we speak Jaya Dhani, Jaya Om Nitya Leela Pravisht Abhay Charnarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jaya. They say this. So one who enters the transcendental pastime of the Lord is called Nitya Leela Pravisht. To understand clearly why Lord Ramchandra returned, it is mentioned here with that the Lord went to that particular place where the Bhakti Yogis go. Where Bhakti Yogis go, there Lord Ramchandra went. The impersonalists misunderstand the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam to mean that the Lord entered his own effulgence and therefore became impersonal. No. But the Lord is a person and his devotees are persons. Indeed, the living entities like the Lord were persons in the past, they are persons in the present, and they will continue to be persons even after giving up the body. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so impersonalist will say that Lord merged into Brahman, but no, he is person. He went to the Vaikuntha planet and he stayed there, and all the Bhakti Yogis also go there and they do pastimes there. 23rd. Okay. 23rd. Purusho Ramacharitam Shavaneir Upadharayan Anshramasya Paro Rajan Karma Bandhair Vimuchyate. Purusha, any person. Ramacharitam, the narration concerning the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Lord Ramchandra. Shravanai, by oral reception. Upadharayan, simply by this process of hearing. Anshramasya Paraha, becomes completely free from envy. Rajan, O King Parikshit. Karma Bandhane, Karma Bandhai, by the bondage of fruitive activities. Vimuchyate, one becomes liberated. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramchandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Very nice. So, we can note down this shloka number 23rd, 9.11.23. This is the remedy for envy. O king, O Rajan, Purusho Shravanair Upadharyan, anyone who hears with his ears. Purusho Shravanair Upadharyan, who hears with the ears. The narration, what? Ramacharitam, the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramchandra and his pastimes. What will happen? Ansramashyaparaha will be freed from envy, karma, bandhair vimuchyate, and be liberated from the bondage of karma. So, envy is very difficult thing. Purport. Here in this material world, everyone is envious of someone else. Everyone is envious of someone else. Even in religious life, it is sometimes found that if one devotee has advanced in his spiritual activities, other devotees are envious of him. Such envious devotees are not completely freed from the bondage of birth and death. As long as one is not completely free from the cause of birth and death, one cannot enter the Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana Dhama, or the eternal pastimes of the Lord. So that also happened that sometimes some devotee progresses, then other feels very envy, why he is growing, why he is becoming famous devotee, like that. So they are not on that high level of bhakti, and as long as one is not completely free from this birth and death, from the cause of birth and death, they cannot enter into Vaikuntha. So envy is actually the cause of bondage. So one becomes envious because of being influenced by the designation of the body. But the liberated devotee has nothing to do with the body, and therefore he is completely on the transcendental platform. So because of the bodily understanding, one thinks that I am this and he is superior than me, so he feels envy. But if they think from the soul point of view, then all are servant of Krishna, then there is no envy, only all are equal. Okay, Pandita Samdarshina. So a person who is not thinking on the body level, he will definitely not be envy of anyone. Why? Because he is on a spiritual plane. So for him everybody looks same only. So there is no cause for even envy. And when there is no enviousness in his heart, then for him there is no cause of material existence. So he will get liberated. Okay. So, therefore, he is completely on the transcendental platform. A devotee is never envious of anyone, even his enemy. What a sentence. Prabhupada is saying, a devotee is never envious of anyone, not even his enemy. Okay. So, because the devotee knows that the Lord is his supreme protector, he thinks, what harm can the so-called enemy do? Because anyway Krishna is protecting me. So if Krishna mare Krishna rakhe Krishna mareke. So thus a devotee is confident about his protection. The Lord says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathav bhajamiham. According to the proportion of one's surrender unto me, I respond accordingly. The way we approach Krishna, similarly he will reciprocate to us. A devotee must therefore be completely free from envy, especially to other devotees. To envy other devotee is a great offense, a Vaishnava aparadh. A devotee who constantly engages in hearing and chanting Shravana Kirtan is certainly freed from the disease of envy, and thus he becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So envy is a very dangerous thing. A devotee should not be envy of other devotee, because when another devotee becomes famous or get recognized and all those things, then we may feel envy. So that's about Vaishnava Aparadh. So what is the solution? Solution is that hear more and more about Lord Ram's transcendental pastime. Okay. So in that way we can overcome. One thing is that one should, like if I am feeling envious of some other devotee, then what I should do is I should see his good qualities and I should glorify him in many places. Then I can overcome the envy. Okay, here it is said that envy, free, ansamasya paraha. How one can become free from envy? When one concerning the when one hears continuously hears the narrations of Lord Ramchandra's pastimes. That's the solution. Okay. Okay, now from 24 to 36, Lord Ram's sweet dealings with his brothers and citizens. Further dealings of Lord Ramchandra. Sri Rajo Vacha Katham tu Bhagavan Ramo Bhratrinva Swayam Atmanaha Tasmin Vate Anvartanta Praja Paurash Cha Ishware. Sri Raja Vacha Maharaj Parikshit inquired Katham how saw he the Lord Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rama, Lord Ramchandra, Bhratrin unto the brothers Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna, Va, either Swayam, personally, Atmana, expansions of his person, Tasmin unto the Lord, Va, either they, all the inhabitants and the brothers, Anvavartanta, behaved, Praja, all the inhabitants, Paura, the citizens, Cha, and Ishware, unto the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukdev Goswami, how did the Lord conduct himself and how did he behave in relationship with his brothers who were expansions of his own self, and how did his brothers and the inhabitants of Ayodhya treat him? Okay. Shri Badarayani Ruvacha Atha Dishad Digvijaye Bhratrim Stri Bhuvaneshwaraha Atmanam Darshayan Swanam Purim Aikshat Sanugaha. Shri Badarayani Vacha, Sri Shukdev Goswami said, Atha, hereafter when the Lord accepted the throne on the request of Bharat, Adishat ordered Digvijaye to conquer all the world. Bhratrin, his younger brother, Stri Bhuvan Ishwaraha, the Lord of the universe, Atmanam, personally himself, Darshayan, giving audience, Swanam, to the family members and the citizen. Purim, the city, Aikshat, supervised, Sa Anugaha, with other assistants. Shukdev Goswami replied, after accepting the throne of the government by the fervent request to his younger brother Bharat, Lord Ramchandra ordered his younger brothers to go out and conquer the entire world, while he personally remained in the capital to give audience to all the citizens and residents of the palace and supervise the governmental affairs with his other assistants. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not allow any of his devotees or assistants to be engaged in sense gratification. The younger brothers of Lord Ramchandra were at home enjoying the personal presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the Lord ordered them to go out and achieve victory all over the world. Very important. So it was a custom, and this custom in some places is still current, that all other kings would have to accept the supremacy of the emperor. If the king of a small state did not accept the emperor's supremacy, there would be a fight, and the king of the small state would be obliged to accept the emperor as supreme. Otherwise, it would not be possible for the emperor to rule the country. That was the system. Lord Ramchandra showed his favor to his brothers by ordering them to go out. Many of the Lord's devotees residing, this is very important, many of the Lord's devotees residing in Vrindavan have taken the vow not to leave Vrindavan to preach Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is saying that many devotees, they are nicely situated in Vrindavan, they say, I will not go anywhere, we are in Vrindavan only. We are set in Vrindavan, Vrindavan is Dham, I don't want to go anywhere. But the Lord says that Krishna consciousness should be spread all over the world, in every village and every town. Prithvi, this is the open order of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Open order. Everybody should follow this order. What is that our order? Prithvi te ache yatra nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar haive moranam. That on earth, every village and town, my holy name should be spread. So that means, you think now how much work is need to be done. Srila Prabhupada, out of his great mercy, he did maximum work. The base he has done very nicely. Now we have to spread and take the movement to the next level. So we are sitting in the Vrindavan nicely. What will happen then? So Prabhupada is saying, don't comfortably sit in Vrindavan. Go and preach the message of Krishna everywhere, where every village and town. So even though if you have to go and stay in some difficult situations, then you go there. If you get an opportunity in some tough place to go and preach, then you go and preach there. You will get a special mercy of Krishna, because that place nobody want to go and nobody want to stay. It's a very tough place. So you go there and preach there. Then Krishna will say, oh, here, because in this place also my Jivatmas are there, they need my mercy. And nobody is coming there. You came there, very nice. You are blessed. I am so happy with you. Okay. So, that is Prabhupada want, that everybody should go and preach everywhere. Wherever is possible, people should go and preach. Nowadays, this online system is there. You have to preach online, offline, travel everywhere. Preach and preach and preach. Preaching is the essence. Prabhupada said that our movement essence is preaching. Everything is done for preaching, so that more and more people can come to Krishna. So that's why no need to sit in, like here Lord Ramchandra's brothers were sitting nicely there, and they are enjoying the association of Supreme Lord only. But Lord said, no, you go and spread my glories all over the world. Ask people to surrender to me, and bring them to my shelter. So that's what preaching is all about. So Prabhupada is saying that people are sitting, they have taken vow to not to leave Vrindavan to preach Krishna. They said, we have taken a vow, we will not leave Vrindavan. Prabhupada is saying, no, that's not very much recommended. Recommended thing is that every village and town you have to travel and preach the message. Even to the location where nobody wants to go, you go there and preach the message. Once Prabhupada said, I think Brahmanand Prabhu or someone was there, I don't exactly remember the name, but Prabhupada said to him that anybody who can go and preach in Pakistan, they will get a special mercy of Krishna. Then this Brahmanand Prabhu and one more devotee, these two were ready to go to Pakistan immediately. And they called Prabhupada, we are going to Pakistan. Right, so those tough places, if somebody preaches, the masses, they will get so much mercy of Krishna, and Prabhupada will be so happy. Nobody want to go and preach there, but you go and preach there. So preaching is the essence. So, and this is the open statement, open order of Lord Chaitanya, that every village and town should be filled with my holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? Every village and town. Now you see how much is there. So how much work is pending. So more and more and more preachers are needed. That's why everyone should start preaching. That's what Prabhupada wanted. So in our limit, in our capabilities, whatever is possible, we should do and preach. And if we are not able to preach, we should help others who are preaching. So that is also called preaching. Preaching does not only means giving classes. Preaching means, suppose somebody is giving class, you arrange for his stay, you arrange for his food, travel, all those things. That's also called preaching, because that's all combined effort. So it's not like that in the team only batsman is not needed. Like in India, everybody wants to become batsman. So batsman is needed, bowlers are needed, wicket keeping person is needed, everyone is needed, right, in team. So that's how in the preaching is also a teamwork. So you may not be able to speak sometime. Some people say, Prabhuji, we cannot speak. Okay, you can do some other service. You can arrange for classes. You can make presentations for the preacher. You can cook. You can arrange staying and travel, and you can arrange programs. You can do cleaning service in the temple programs. You can do many services. So this is all called preaching. Even Dressing the deities is also preaching. You know. So preaching means somehow or other inspiring others to come to Krishna. So any activity which you do which inspires others to come and surrender to Krishna, that's called preaching. Right? So you can write books, you can distribute the books, or so like you don't know how to write the books, so you write the books of other devotees. Srila Prabhupada books you distribute, and you don't know singing, okay, so you can play mridanga. If you don't know that also, you can do some other service. You can take service of arranging kirtans, or arranging, and after kirtan putting everything back to the places, cleaning the place, all any service, all things are called preaching. Okay, so and if you can speak, you can study scriptures nicely and speak nicely and give nice presentation and inspire many people. That is the most wonderful thing, right? So that's how preaching is very much important, and that's why Prabhupada was not very much happy with this excuse. What? That I am in Vrindavan, so I want to live in Vrindavan, I cannot preach message. I cannot go anywhere. I want to live in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada was not much in favor, because Prabhupada himself was nicely located and situated, was staying in Vrindavan very nicely, but he also left Vrindavan for preaching purpose, right? So he went for preaching, right? So that's the point. Okay, so this excuse may not work always. Yeah, if you have given a service that down, and because there also preaching is needed, right? So you have given service that you have to be in Vrindavan, you be in Vrindavan. But if you say that you go now some other place, you should go there. Okay. So somebody, I think in Mayapur or in Bhubaneswar, so one devotee was there. So he wanted to go to West US. He was from foreign only, US only somewhere. So he was not able to manage in India somehow. He wanted to go back. So his all things were set, and tickets and all were set. And then finally Prabhupada, another devotee said to Prabhupada that it's become very difficult. I cannot do this thing, that thing, and like that. And I am not getting time to translate the books or do other book distribution service or writing. I think Gauragovind Maharaj only, someone, I don't remember the name, but he said this is the difficulty. So he said, okay, leave the temple management services. Now you focus on book distribution and reprinting of the books and writing translation. Temple management some other devotee can do. So who can do? So they said his name only. Prabhupada said he will do. So Prabhupada called him. So Prabhupada said, okay, now you can become temple manager here. He said, no, I cannot become Prabhupada. Here it's too much difficulties are there. What difficulties? So he said, here I am not getting proper food. He said, what food you want, I will arrange. He said, here it's so many mosquitoes, I will give you mosquito net. Here winter, he said, I will arrange heater for you. Whatever excuse he was giving, Prabhupada was saying, I will arrange everything. Finally he said that here it's too difficult, I cannot chant even my 16 round. Prabhupada said, don't worry, I will chant 16 round for you, but you should become temple manager. So he said, my ticket is there, and I have already said to their temple, those temple in US, they have already given some services for me. I have to take charge of that service, it is already fixed. Prabhupada said, I'll write them and change the person, everything will be set, but you have to be here. So sometime if order is given that you go and do this service, we should follow that. Okay, we should not we should not say that, okay, I want to be in Vrindavan. So another case was there when somebody said that Prabhupada gave them Krishna Balaram temple construction time. They were every day this devotee was engaged in purchase of cement and iron rods and account of workers and this, that whole day, this construction, what is this? Yeah, I thought Krishna, some bhakti, some very nice thing in Vrindavan. What am I doing? Some this engineering work here, building construction. For that I came to Vrindavan. Prabhupada is so big. I want to sit and chant continuously. So Prabhupada said, this is more important. Huh? And Prabhupada said, if you can't do that, then you cannot even chant also. And Prabhupada said, you give him salary. If you feel like it's a work, construction service is work, then you take salary. But if you think this also, constructing a temple for Krishna is also devotional service, this is bhakti. So one has to understand that it's a great thing that I am engaged in direct service of Krishna in making temple for Krishna. That's also in Sridham Vrindavan. So that's an important thing. Like somebody want to stay in Vrindavan only, but there is some order that you go and preach here, there, then they should go. So the focus should be on the preaching, not on other thing. Our ISKCON means completely focus on preaching. Preaching means making more and more devotees and bringing more and more soul to the Krishna's lotus feet. So that is preaching means. Jeev Daya, this is the topmost class of compassion for jivas. So Jeev Daya. So many more devotees should come to Krishna. Krishna is so happy with a person who brings more and more devotee to Krishna. Okay, they become more dear. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so a pure devotee therefore must execute the order of the Lord and must not gratify his senses by remaining stagnant in one place, falsely proud, thinking that because he does not leave Vrindavan but chants in a solitary place, he has become a great devotee. You see what Prabhupada is saying, that one should not do this kind of thing. That, I will not leave Vrindavan, I am sitting and chanting in Vrindavan. So that may not be always pleasing to Prabhupada. Okay. So one must execute the order of the Lord and must not gratify his senses by remaining. Prabhupada, what is saying? Must not gratify his senses by remaining stagnant in one place, falsely proud, thinking that because he does not leave Vrindavan but chants in a solitary place, he has become a great devotee. Okay. So devotee must carry out the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That order, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, go and preach. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yar dekhe tarakaha Krishna Upadesa. Every devotee therefore should spread Krishna consciousness by preaching. Yar dekhe tarakaha Krishna Upadesa. Whomever you meet, whomever you see, talk them about Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yar dekha tarakaha Krishna Upadesa. Every devotee therefore should spread Krishna consciousness by preaching, asking whomever he meets to accept the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whomever you meet, ask them to chant Hare Krishna at least. The Lord says, Sarv Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. This is the order of the Lord who speaks as the Supreme Emperor. Everyone should be induced to accept this order, for this is victory, Digvijaya. So, everyone should make plan to execute this order. What order? Spreading the holy name to all over the world, every village and town. Okay, and it is the duty of the soldier, the devotee. So, devotee is the soldier of Krishna's army, and this army fights against Maya. So, it is the duty of the soldier, the devotee, to impress upon everyone this philosophy of life, Krishna consciousness. Of course, further Prabhupada is saying that, of course, those who are Kanishta Adhikari do not preach. Of course, those who are Kanishta Adhikaris do not preach, but the Lord shows mercy to them also, as he did by staying personally in Ayodhya to give audience to the people in general. So, who are new people, they cannot preach, they are new. So, for them it is recommended that they should hear Katha. Okay, and take association with senior devotees and living in the temple or like that. Okay, so Krishna gives them association like this. So one should not mistakenly think that the Lord asked his younger brothers to leave Ayodhya because he especially favored the citizens? No. The Lord is merciful to everyone, and He knows how to show His favor, to each individual person according to his capacity. So Lord knows how to give mercy to each and everyone. Different, the way of giving mercy can be different. Like He gave mercy to the brothers by sending them to spread His glories, and for citizens He gave His personal association. Like that He gave them mercy. So the Lord is merciful to everyone, and He knows how to show His favor to each individual person according to his capacity. One who abides by the order of the Lord is a pure devotee. Lord's order is preach the message, and one who abides by the order of the Lord is a pure devotee. Okay, so Lord Ramchandra ordered his brothers to conquer the world. His brothers gave up his personal association and followed his order. So, giving up personal association of the Lord Ramchandra and following the order of the Lord Ramchandra, which is more important? The more important thing is to follow the order of Lord Ramchandra. That's what being in the personal association of Guru and following the instruction of the Guru, even though living far away. Which is more important? Following the instruction of the Guru, and which is even person may be very far away. Okay, so that's what, because sometimes people are very close to a then they just cannot progress much. But when they are far, they just hear the instructions and they follow all the instructions and they progress very fast. That was their conduct towards him. Ram, out of affection to his brothers, gave them dominion over those lands. That was his conduct towards them. His conduct towards his relatives and the citizens was letting them see indirectly and glancing on them with mercy. He supervised the city. That was his own conduct. Okay, so the question was, what was his conduct? How activity he did? So with respect to brothers and citizens and himself, like that. So with brothers, he sent them out for conquering the world and gave them some part of kingdom, and then with citizens he personally associated with them, and so they were able to see him directly and take the mercy of Lord Ramchandra, and he was having his merciful glance upon them, and for himself he supervised the city. That was his own conduct. Okay. Thank you so much. 26th shloka we shall do tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Hare Krishna.